Our next guest, we have invited and been patiently waiting to appear on our show, one of the finest businesses of his type in the nation, with many accolades to endorse that we're providing you one of the finest collision repair facilities in our country. It's a privilege and an honor to have Eric Collins, owner of Final Finish Auto Body, on our show today. Thanks for accepting our invitation to be here.
Thanks for having me, Mitch.
You know, I just said you've got so many accolades, and the work that you put out of your shop, it just makes everybody else jealous. Let's start, if you will, for our listeners that have never heard the name Final Finish Auto Body, with a little bit of history of how you got into body and paint.
Well, it started when I was 15 with repairing a vehicle to get to drive when I was 16, and once one of my dad's friends showed me how to fix a dent, do a few things on it. I did the truck, drove it for about 6 months, and made about $1,200 on the truck. So that kind of started the whole ball rolling. You
got bit by the bug at 15 years old. You got into playing with them, and you've been doing this for a while. I want our listeners to understand. I mean, you started your first real job in the industry when?
Yeah, in 1985 at Yerington Auto Body out in Yerington, Nevada.
And there, your education was more started with collision and insurance body repairs.
Yeah, we're doing insurance body repair, auto glass, and we also were doing some fleet painting, which is kind of what got me going, because the fleet painting, everything's large and big, so you get a lot of time behind a paint gun when you're doing some fleet paint.
Well, and then you opened Final Finish. What year was that?
That was 1998. When we opened Final Finish. Predominantly we were doing a lot of custom rods, bikes, boats. We weren't really known for insurance collision, but between that time frame of leaving Yerington in 98, I was always in the insurance collision industry and shops in Reno.
And I think that's interesting you said that, because you walk in your shop and the first thing you see on the walls are magazine after magazine front cover of the work that you've done. I mean, this is some of the vehicles I'll let you share some of the different covers that you've been on in the magazine world, national magazine world. But some of the vehicles have even been sold for very high dollars that you've done at Barrett-Jackson. So, and I think people that know your name know you for that, but we'll get to the fact that there's more than that to your facility. But tell us a little bit about some of the accolades that you've had.
Well, Hot Bike Magazine, we've had the cover of that, off-road and four-wheel drive. Just here recently, we painted the Rare Bear, so it was on the cover of Smithsonian Magazine. And we did top fuel hydros for the Loose Cannon, about 8 of those. We did Corporate Chevrolet, their fuel funny cars, Copenhagen, Sunoco, and Napa. Basically we try to cover all facets of custom paint, bikes, planes, cars, If you want a custom paint job on it, you can hold it still, we'll paint it.
Well, and I want to just say this, because the name Final Finish, there's really actually meaning to it. There's a part of the process that you personally are involved in. So tell us a little bit about how you came up with the name Final Finish.
Well, just when you get all the way to the end and you've put on numerous coats of clears, candies, pinstriping, and everything else, that the last time you go in to spray it, the final time, it always is the most rewarding to spray the clear over all the work or whatever you've done. And then, the cut and polish after just makes you feel good, even after doing it this many years of putting it outside to deliver it.
What I think is really interesting is I don't think there's been a time that I've come into your shop that I haven't caught you in that process. That this is the majority of the time, the part of the process you still do yourself, even though you could just retain somebody else to do it. And there's a double advantage to that you were mentioning.
Yeah, I've had a younger guy with me since he was just out of high school, and I still do about 75% of the refinish work, and he's been with me 10 years, and so he's definitely got the 25% that's left over. It's still, every car, every boat, or whatever we're doing usually goes through my hands at the end if it's going to have custom paint on it.
And that's you were mentioning to me. That's where your name comes out. It's on that Final Finish. That product is your reputation in the community, and that's why you love to handle that part of the process.
Yeah, and it's neat to do that job and get it done and have everybody be happy. and then see that car at the car show at August nights or whatever it may be where you see it again and it still looks great.
Well, and then you also mentioned that by doing that function, that you're able to reduce some of your overhead and do some other neat things for your consumers as well.
Well, we're not really well known for doing insurance collision repairs, so me still doing a lot of the shop labor, allows me and frees up my ability to help people out with their deductible or whatnot as far as getting your insurance collision repair finished.
Because you reduce the overhead of having to pay somebody to do the part that you're doing. And then you get to control the standards that leave your shop simultaneously. It's really a brilliant plan there together.
Yeah, I just don't know when, I don't think I'll ever want to put the paint gun down. That's, I don't know when that'll be, but I still enjoy it after all these years.
Well, the work is, I can say this. I don't know that on radio, and for our listeners, we do produce a video on top of the audio tracks for each of our businesses that we then put on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook, and you'll be able to find this on our Facebook within the next few days, where you can see some of the work. But I can't even start to, on radio, describe the quality of the paintwork that comes out of this facility. It is mind-boggling beautiful. And you really should take some time to either visit the shop and just see the artwork that's on the walls, let alone sharing this video with your friends that are maybe considering doing some custom work to their motorcycle or plane or boat or a hot rod that they're getting ready for next Hot August Nights or this Hot August Nights. But here's one of the beautiful things, and I'm glad you mentioned that you do more than just the custom work. But if you can do that kind of work at that level of quality, it's got to translate into your everyday driver, the car that just got scraped in a parking lot or in a collision.
Yeah, even with the cars that we do on our insurance side of the repair, I still use the same high solids clears that I use on, a hot rod or a Harley or anything else. We're not looking to skimp on material. We still use great quality materials on the insurance jobs also. So it's not like they're a lower level deal where we're just putting paint on them and shipping them. We still take that same pride in everybody's daily driver.
Well, and you said the pride, and thank you for going there. And I just, you said it, but I want a community to hear what really goes into a business model that allows you to put out that kind of work on a consistent basis every day, day in, day out, year in, year out. It's personal.
Oh, it's very personal. And, this is our first attempt at doing a lot of advertising. We've lived on word of mouth, and to survive that way in this economy, you got to put out good work, because the word of mouth is the absolute drive, I think, behind of a lot of repairs and what you've done for people.
Well, and you said it, the word of mouth in the community is extraordinary for you, and I wanted our community to get to know you, because really this is the whole mission of this show, is for people to understand that there is a difference, and the difference in a repair of a vehicle that's been in a collision. Everybody can say that owns a body shop that they do collision repair work or they work with insurance companies, but the quality of that work is not the same with every shop. And we really want people to understand that there is a difference in quality, what they're going to get for their money, and that what goes into that. And you just mentioned a lot of it is the quality of the paints, the materials you're using.
Well, that's one thing, is the quality of the paint material, but we like to take a collision repair and take it, there's big shops and there's small shops. We like to try to make it a little more personal.
Well, and you were talking to me, we were having this conversation just a little while ago about the structural integrity of a vehicle after a collision. I mean, people just think that, well, my insurance company is going to pay and it's going to be fixed and it's all the same. But when they're in another collision and that same area of the vehicle is impacted, it could be a big difference from shop A to shop B.
Oh, it definitely can be, as far as, the new metal fusers and things that they're using to put body panels on. It can make a big difference. I've always felt that I'd never repair a car that I thought was hurt bad that I wouldn't put my own family in.
Well, and there it goes to your personal core values as a human being. And, you were talking about how, your name means something to you in a community, that that just is what drives you as a business owner. And we really want our community to get to know that. I thought this was really interesting because some of the work that you've done has been featured in magazines, sold at Barrett-Jackson, and you've been asked many times to put your logo on vehicles, airbrush your name into them, and you really shy away from doing that. And I thought it was interesting. Why?
We've had a lot of people ask us to we have a little double F logo that's on my business cards and everything, either adding that in or putting something on as far as that goes. But my belief is that if the job's good enough, it's going to hold people's attention long enough to look at it, and they'll ask who did it rather than having to put it on there who did it.
Well, and some of the work is so extraordinary. I mean, you do all of the really complex color combinations, blue pearls, and so tell us a little bit about some of the different types of artwork that you can do in graphics and airbrushing and things like that for our listeners.
We have to get some of the photos posted. We've done a lot of work where we've used candies with airbrush work underneath it. And, candies are definitely the toughest if you do them the true way of starting off with silver and gold bases, then going to transparent red toners and blue toners to get the colors even and everything. Is by far the most difficult. But then when you're just dealing with that alone, then you add in graphics and pinstriping and airbrush work. It just makes it that much more complicated. And
I've seen some ghost imaging is the only way I can describe it, where the images are underneath and transparent, but at the right angle of light, they just pop out at you. The artwork is extraordinary. It's just talent. And then what fascinated me is that you actually transfer some of this even into the home.
Yeah, we have done some work for Q&D, and I've done a lot of stuff in my own home as far as making range hoods and doing custom finishes on them, clawfoot tubs, just actually a lot of these finishes you can use over drywall or different things. It's just how far you want to go. Well,
and you do all of that. So if somebody wants the best and the final finish to be the best, how do they get a hold of you, Eric?
775-331-1355.
That's Eric Collins, owner of Final Finish Auto Body. Absolutely a pleasure having you on our show. Finally, thank you for accepting our invitation so our community get the opportunity to get to know you as we do.